Warner Robins city leaders talking about ways to restrict large parties and gatherings, like the one that led to a fatal shooting of a teenager earlier this month. The Labor Day week shooting that killed 15-year-old Tanila Johnson happened at a large block party attended by several hundred people.
City officials say they don't want that to happen again. Brianna Richardson joins us live outside the Warner Robins Police Department with more details on plans that are underway.
Yeah, right now the city requires a permit for things like parades or picketing, but there's no permit or ordinance in place for large gatherings such as block parties. But very soon that could change. During Monday night's city council meeting, Councilman Clifford Holmes said someone came to him with concerns following the recent deadly shooting. He agrees there should be limits on gatherings, but for good reasons.
We do not penalize churches, school organizations that have things for fundraising purposes, churches that have anniversaries or homecomings or what have you.
Assistant Police Chief Chris Rooks says they're taking a look at party permit rules in nearby cities. He says they'll also need to adjust their current noise ordinance because it's ineffective. Rooks says they're still in the early stages of creating guidelines for large gatherings, but these permits would be helpful.
It allows us to know the event is happening. It allows us to plan for it. And it allows us to communicate with whoever's having the block party to explain what the rules are, what the rules, at what point if the rules change or there's violations or there's complaints from residents in the neighborhood. It allows us to better prepare.
Pastor Josh Kervin at First Baptist Church says the discussions around a possible permit aren't a bad idea, but he does have some questions.
For a permit like that, how do you monitor it? Does it become discriminatory? Are you going to be looking at one community versus another community? What's the penalty for not getting a permit?
And Kervin says there's a bigger issue that must be addressed.
How is it so easy that guns can be purchased or gotten by these teenagers? You have drugs, you have crime. So even if you stop the block parties, you still have those underlying issues.
And Rook says the investigation from the recent shooting is far from over. Once the department drafts up those permit plans, he says that they'll present them to mayor and council and they'll take a vote. Live in Warner Robins, Brianna Richardson, 13W MAZ News.
Thank you, Brianna. Rook says there's no set timeline just yet, but they hope to have a draft soon.